Jumbo Africa. Today we are experiencing the worst of tragedies. First of all, let me start by saying I pay my sincere condolences to the lives that were lost both in Israel, the 7th of October, and the lives that were lost in Palestine. I've heard a lot of people talking about the war in Israel, between Israel and Palestine. And I pause to think that why has everybody been subjected to this amnesia? I want to warn Africans about involving themselves in the affairs of what is happening in that area of our world. First of all, we know that both Arabs and whites undermine Africans. I've said this many times ago that slavery was perpetuated by Arabs who made Africans to choose between Islam or slavery. We were sold in America and anywhere else in the world. We were sold by Arabs because Arabs forced Africans to adopt Islam, and those who refused were then sold to the Americas. So I am warning all the Africans to refrain from involving themselves in the conflict that is happening in those foreign lands. Africa has got nothing to do with what is happening in Palestine and Israel. And I want to pause again and warn people that you should not condemn Israel nor condemn Palestine for what is happening there. Those are innocent souls that were brought to that situation by the warmongers of Europe. If you think about it, there was a problem with the influx of Jews in Eastern Europe, in all that land in Europe, including Western Europe. There was an irritating influx of Jews in that, and they were taking over and taking all the businesses, and the whites became poor because all the businesses belonged to Jews, and Jews were very educated. People like Einstein are the ones who created the atomic bomb. So it was irritating to whites that why would Jews, because to be honest with you, Jews are also not considered to be pure white. That is why Hitler killed them. And he said it categorically that he wants the Aryan race. The Aryan race means whites with blue eyes. If you are white and you didn't have blue eyes, you were not considered an Aryan race. And Jews fall under that category of Hitler. So we should not try and blame the Jews or the Palestinians for the chaos that is happening in the Middle East. The problem that we are facing was caused by Hitler himself. Hitler succeeded in the Second World War. One of his successes was to convince the victors of the Second World War that they should help remove Jews from Germany, from Ukraine, from Russia, from Yugoslavia, from Kosovo, all over Eastern Europe. And that was successfully done. They were removed in Poland, they were removed everywhere. Although they were stored in Poland, in the camp at Auschwitz. But at the end of the day, Hitler succeeded in cleansing, what is called ethnic cleansing, cleansing Germany of anything Jewish. He succeeded. Now, people should not be pretending, people like Joe Biden, pretending that they sympathize. They created that chaos. The English they created that. Although when the execution of that mass eviction of Jews from Europe was facilitated by England, but they stayed mute. They didn't want to be vocal. But what they did was to provide land, to say, guys, if you can move these Jews away from us, we will give you land. And they gave that land which they had colonized, land being Palestine. There has never been a land called Israel. Never. Israel was a human being. He is the father of both Jews and Palestinians. These are the children of Abraham, and Israel is the forefather of the people living in that area of the world. There's never been a land called Israel. Israel only came into existence in 1948, a creation by Hitler, by the English, by the Americans, and the Russians. Shame on people like Putin, who today are sitting on the fence, and they don't want to relinquish the fact that their ambassador to the United Nations was the one who supported the creation of a Jewish state. That is why Russia will never take any stance to say they are against to what is happening in Palestine today. They can never condemn that. They are not going to condemn it. Even if they do, it will be very lukewarm. Nobody is calling for the ICC to take over from all these superpowers. No one is ever calling for the ICC to take over and punish whoever is planting bombs on both sides. They are sitting there and watching the monkeys fighting over a banana. They are enjoying. They may seem, people like Biden may seem as if they are sympathizing with Israel. They are not. That was the creation. All I'm saying today, if Biden is true in his rhetoric of supporting Israel, I then ask him to then tell the Chancellor of Germany that they should preserve land or give away land in Germany where all Jews will be evacuated to and be given a place, because you should not allow Hitler to succeed in his cruel quest of cleansing Europe of Jews. They should take land from Germany and give and create a state in Germany, because they are the one who created this chaos. So in order to punish Germany for the First World War and the Second World War, they should create a state within Germany which will be called a Jewish state, and or even take the Palestinians, because they've taken their land. Take the Palestinians and give them land in Germany, or in one of the land around Germany. It could be the borders between Poland and Germany. They could do, in order to diffuse the tension. That tension will go on and on because it is business for America. America is providing arms to the tune of $4 billion US dollars a year to Israel. Those dollars are not for free. Israel has to pay for those dollars. They are not for free. They are fueling the war in Israel. So as long as everybody is trading with Israel, they would want that state to perpetuate the violence that is being carried on the Palestinians. And the Palestinians should fight for for their self-determination, and also fight for the fact that the borders that were created by these so-called superpowers in 1967 should be restored, at least, because as it is now, there is bombardment in Gaza. The next thing that is going to follow, the settlers of Israel are going to take over that land and claim that they are taking the land because people from that area killed its people. So as a punishment, they're going to take the land. They've done that when Egypt was involved in the 7 Days War. They took the lands at the Golan Heights in order to punish Egypt. They've taken the land also to punish Lebanon for its involvement. They've taken land to punish Syria for its involvement. They've taken so much land, including minimizing Gaza to what it is today, for the benefit of creating more settlers in that, more Jewish settlers in that area of the world. So all I'm saying, as part of African dignity, I am telling Africans to shut up when it comes to what is happening in Palestine. They should shut up and deal with the wars in Niger, and deal with the wars in Senegal, in the Sahel region, all that is happening there in Sudan, in the Eastern Congo. There is fighting going on there. Africans must start creating peace in those areas before jumping borders and going to a problem that was caused deliberately by England, America, and Russia. They should remove themselves from that conflict, because the next thing, when you see people like the ANC who was marching to an Israeli ambassador's office or diplomats in Pretoria, that is a declaration of war. It only means that South Africa, represented by ANC, is supporting Hamas, because they are jumping for what has happened to Israel, to Palestine, when that hospital was bombed. But they are not saying anything about the small children and women that were killed in Israel. So you remove yourself from these talks, because you are seen as monkeys jumping over a banana that is not going to benefit you with nothing. There's nothing that you want from Israel. Israel will never give you oil or anything. Why are you even involving yourself in that conflict? Because you've got nothing to do with it. It was created by your bosses, England, America, and Russia. So let them deal with it. Let them deal with it, including that conflict that is going on in Ukraine. You have nothing to do with that. You've got your own problems in your own country. Deal with those first, then you can prove that you are peacemakers. Otherwise, you are not peacemakers. The Palestinians, all I'm saying to the Palestinians, go and cling to the statue of Nelson Mandela. If Israel bombs the statue of Nelson Mandela, then we know that the whole world will erupt, because Nelson Mandela was a man of peace. Jambo Africa, let there be peace in the world. Stop killing the children. Restore the Jews in Europe. Give them a proper land on the banks of the Rhine River, or on the land in the eastern side of Germany, between Poland and Germany. Give them land there and restore their dignity, because there was no need in the first place for them to be taken to Auschwitz. In fact, Auschwitz should form part of Israel. Jambo Africa.